Twomad has caused irreversible damage to his career in the past few weeks. Roughly 2 months ago now, the professional memer made a joke regarding Brianna Gay, calling her his girlfriend and making offensive jokes about her, allegedly not knowing the context surrounding who she was. Here's the context, I can't verbally explain it to you in a YouTube video. Now, this blew up all over Twitter when it happened. Everyone was talking about it, and Twomad is terminally online. He would have seen this incident happen. He claims he didn't know who she was. Regardless, this started a tirade of criticism, warranted and unwarranted, towards Twomad. Much of the discourse around Twomad stems from his beef with Jameski, which is rooted in a gaming tournament. There was a lot of joking back and forth, but this would spill onto Twitter where stuff got more severe and Twomad got banned for a time. For this story, all you need to know is that Twomad found out about Jameski's ethnicity being Russian. James seemingly tried to scrub this info from the internet. Both of them deleted the post about each other, but safe to say, the bridge was burned. Coming back to the Brianna tweet in the modern day, when it rains it pours, and after getting attacked by Twitter users for this tweet, a woman dropped a bombshell, changing the discourse to something else completely different. Bella allegedly was with Twomad, but, well, it's complicated. You see, it starts like this, with her saying, quote, "Twomad is psychotic. What he says about the trans girl is genuinely how he is IRL. He's way worse IRL. Most psychopathic person I've ever fucking known. If you're reading this, Muende, this is an excuse to try and talk to me again. I'm completely serious about involving the police," end quote. I've been doing commentary and news for a while now. I'm semi-well connected, and behind the scenes, conversations about Twomad are things I've had. Twomad has garnered a reputation among creators as an erratic individual. I would often have conversations about him when he would appear at events. Speaking in confidence with creator sources, Twomad would be described as someone who would be inappropriate, allegedly. One creator source told me how when they met Twomad at 19, his most defining feature was his quest for sex. Chatty YouTubers would talk about his erratic messages that they'd get from Twomad. This would constantly be buffeted with things like, well, people think he's funny, so we deal with it. We can always chalk it up to everyone I spoke with being a hater, but I doubt this is that. This is me saying there's a lot of talk about Twomad on the online creator space, specifically about his sexual exploits, his erratic behavior. All of it's been known for a long time, but no one really said anything. This isn't me saying I agree with the allegations or that the allegations are true. Allegations are allegations, but just I wanted to bring up the creator aspect of this, so much so that we'll put a pin in it and come back to the YouTube community later. Bella's post alleged multiple things about Twomad. There were allegations of an alleged essay, harassment, threats of violence, violent ideation, and so much more. Most of these things are cataloged in receipts and were further elaborated on in the court document. A court proceeding funded allegedly by Jameski. So a temporary restraining order was granted against Twomad in early July, along with a notice of his upcoming court dates. The document is called the Request for Civil Harassment Restraining Order, and this specifically lays out claims against Twomad. Some of these things involve firearms. And in the document, the respondent, in quotes, is Twomad, by the way. The other thing worth showing are the specifics around the essay. The black sections are full names that I've left out. Basically, all the black sections are PII, personal identifying information. So attachment 7 in this court document outlines the exact details of the allegation with a complete timeline of the relationship. Much of this includes details I was told in private before the document's publication or before it was even going to court. As YouTubers are chatty, I want to bring attention to the following part of the attachment, 7B. You see, before this, it chronicles an alleged incident I cannot fully describe here on YouTube, but friends of Twomad pulled up to Twomad's house saying, quote, The respondent's friends happened to pull into the driveway. They saw me in a highly emotional state and asked me if I was okay. I told them I was not okay, and his friends acknowledged that respondent was known to act this way towards women, end quote. Now, outside of what's alleged here in the document, they also include reams and reams of DMs that look super weird, as well as the acknowledgement of a bunch of burner phones allegedly belonging to Twomad. The messages here are very damning, and I go over most of this stuff in detail on stream, which if Twomad watches this video, which there's a more than 0% chance he will, I know I'm doing a fucking plug, and there's a very good chance you'll mock me for it, but I got bills to pay, so continue to tweet about it. Mana Potion Coffee is my brother and I's coffee company. We sell eco-friendly USDA organic fair trade brews themed around fantasy games. This isn't some drop-ship cheap coffee. We have a great relationship with our roaster, and I pack all the packages and send them out personally. Use code D10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Anyway, all these messages look horrible, but extending on from that is Twomad's erratic tweeting, which has continued on and on daily. And also, Twomad and I talked in DMs around the beginning of this drama, which we'll get to, by the way. The erratic tweeting and non-addressing of the issue would exemplify itself in Twomad's public appearances, where he called in Augie RFC to just rant and then he left.
Twomad, welcome to RFC.
Why are you mad, bro?
Why you? Dude, you're being so
tell us what happened.
No reason. Be quiet. I'm driving.
Are you Oregon?
Why are you spurging, bro? Why are you spurging?
I'm in Oregon. Be respectful, okay?
No, you're not in Oregon. You're not in Oregon, motherfucker. Are you gonna drive off a cliff and die? Are you gonna commit suicide?
I'm literally driving. I'm in Oregon. I'm literally driving. I'm in Oregon.
I'm down, tipster.
I'm literally driving, but I'm in Oregon.
Twomad.
This guy's so fucking stupid.
So you're mad that I posted that thing, right? You mad, bro?
I am mad.
Yeah, I'm
fucking
molding.
Here's my official response. Here's my response, okay? I'm literally driving. I'm in Oregon. I'm literally driving. I'm in Oregon. I'm literally driving. I'm in Oregon.
Twomad, your career is fucking over. What are you gonna do?
No,
like,
it's not.
it's just
Your
fucking.
career never started, Augie.
Bitch, my career is fucking 10 times larger than yours. What are you saying? I have 1,300 viewers right now. When's the last time you've had 1,300 views, bitch?
It's an hour long. It's gonna get 5 million views. I'm gonna get a bunch of money.
It's not gonna get 5 million views, buddy.
I have more marketable skills than you too. I'm a better editor. I'm literally driving. I mean, literally, if I didn't have a YouTube channel at all, I could work as a manager, could work as an editor.
No, you couldn't.
And be
Where, like a Denny's?
Dude, you even know how to use Sunday. You know how to use Sunday.
Applebee's.
Dude, if there's anybody who's more likely to work at Denny's, it's fucking you, bro. Please stop coping. You're coping. You're coping.
He also did the same thing on the TBH podcast that has Pyrocynical on it, and that was also just as enlightening.
All right, I'm so glad to be on this fucking podcast. I think should I get a fucking egg McMuffin?
Twomad.
The Twomad touched me.
Fuck is he saying? No, it's not gibberish. It's fucking drugs.
Simply chat GPT my fucking asshole.
We can't understand you. We can't understand
Running
you.
full sprint towards me. I have to knock this motherfucker out. He was on ketamine. He was on 200 milligrams of ketamine and then 5 other fucking heroin-ass type drugs. I deny everything. Okay, I did some of that shit. Alright, so not everything.
Which things?
No, I didn't do shit. Okay, I don't deny everything. I deny some things and I accept some things. Okay, fuck you. I'm just describing what the fuck I'm actually doing. I'm in Oregon right now.
Twomad, are you still there?
He left.
Now, I should also elaborate that Twomad's court case is not really about the essay. Now, really, all this court stuff does prevent him from addressing the claims very directly. It's all gonna be going on for a bit, it seems. There isn't much in the court documents that speak to his defense currently. We'll need to see where all of this lands, and based off of what I'm reading, we aren't even officially at the trial. They have another hearing in late September, though. Again, this is all allegations, and given this is a civil case, things are different, so much so that Twomad's tweets can really muddy the waters for your understanding. So I need to give a crash course in Law 101 and the difference between civil and criminal cases for us to have a discussion about this. So let's say you're watching different kinds of courtroom dramas on TV. One of them is about arguing over money rights, that's civil, and the other is about catching bad guys who break the law, that's criminal. So we'll go over civil cases first. Civil cases are about who owes what. In the money and rights kind of cases, civil cases, it's a fancy argument over who owns what to whom. Let's say you lend your friend money, they don't pay you back. You might have to take them to court to figure out who really owes you that money. In these cases, it's not about throwing anyone in jail, it's about showing that it's more than likely, more than 50%, that your friend should give you back the money. That's preponderance of evidence. It looks like you have a better reason than your friend, so the court might make that friend pay up. So what about criminal cases? Well, criminal cases are catching bad guys. In the bad guy catching cases, these are more serious. Imagine someone's accused of stealing a priceless painting from a museum, for example. The government's the main character here, trying to prove the accused person is really guilty. But they need to be super sure. They need to show there's almost no doubt that the accused person did it. They'll need to try and convince the jury so much so that even if there's a tiny bit of doubt, that person should be let go. This is called beyond a reasonable doubt, and it's a much tougher standard compared to civil cases. So the big difference is this. In civil cases, it's about being more convincing than the other side, and in criminal cases, it's about being almost 100% sure someone did something wrong before they can be punished. It's like two different levels of proof that are needed in two different types of courtroom battle. So really, a civil case can answer some questions for us, the public, but this is not going to answer all the questions. It's not like a stone tablet of truth that either determines guilt or innocence. Guilt and innocence are kind of different versus civil and criminal cases. So just be aware of all that, right? We're never going to know all the answers without extensive investigations. All right, so let's talk about my DMs with Twomad. I did know the story going in, so I figured either way I dice it, this conversation was going to end up public. I was keeping it professional. I use very professional language on purpose. The claims are serious. I don't want to be misinterpreted. The goal with my line of questioning was as follows. Did something happen? If so, what? Can this be cross-referenced, which was what was sent with me in private? Basically, I was trying to figure out if what I was told had any credence or if it was just a complete gossip story. Another important question was, does the behavior match or go against what I was told by other creators before us chatting? I was also very clear with Twomad that despite not liking him for how I've heard him act, I believed he deserved a fair shake. I was live and I did tweet about him, so I didn't want to lie in DMs and say that I love Twomad and I'm a big Twomad fan. Be honest with the people you talk to. There's no reason for me to hold that. I wanted to know about the nature of his relationship with Bella, and you might ask why this matters. Well, one of my first lines of thinking is that maybe Bella is a jilted, scorned lover. Perhaps she's crazy, fabricating the whole thing. For the most part, I believe Twomad was deliberately misinterpreting or did not answer me on purpose. Like, Twomad, what was the relationship you had with Bella? I don't know, says Twomad. I mean, really? Do you not know? How? You didn't understand, so I asked more precisely. You dated? Is that correct? You speak about an event in broad terms. What happened? Was there a miscommunication? The specifics of the event would exonerate you. Now, if Twomad gives a wildly different interpretation of the events versus what Bella said, that might be room for discussion, but he didn't give any answer. Apparently this was too broad of a question according to Twomad. I guess Twomad knew I was live and was watching as I DM'd him and got frustrated. I ask again to give details since Bella never gave them, which gives Twomad leverage to take the narrative back. And then he says something did happen, it just wasn't as severe. Okay, so something happened, so we're getting somewhere. Now remember guys, this is within 24 hours of the story breaking, there's no details out, but Twomad tweets about the word groping. I also heard about the specific incident in private that involves groping. It's in attachment 7B of the court documents that I referenced earlier. This story, mind you, I was told in private, and the word grope specifically was reused in that telling to me in private. Now publicly, this is the first time that grope is being used, and it's Twomad who's using it. So I jump at that line of questioning because the word sticks out. Anyway, he doesn't answer that either, of course. Anyway, by now my patience is running thin. I gave him a lot of time that night, so I'm like, just speak to me or don't. Anyway, this goes nowhere, and Twomad gives me to run around, so I appropriately tell him before I leak the DMs that I'm going to leak the DM. Then he was watching my stream, and based on the insults he gave me, he didn't really seem happy, or he was just happy to watch the narrative unfolding. I mean, hey, he very well could be innocent, but Lord, just compare this response to Quite's response, the most professional response I've ever seen. It's become common to see YouTubers go quiet and then come forward when they have receipts. Twomad's tweeting bucks that trend. Anyway, a few weeks later, I had the highlights of the stream cut and uploaded, and then that's when I got blocked by Twomad. He didn't like what I did, apparently. Probably not the greatest thing for your case to say that you could be worse and be more entertaining, especially when I was outdoing you on numbers and streaming, but whatever. Mwende and I have very different skills, but go off, King. I'm sure your response video will be great.
Hey, Editing Diesel here. So I bet you're wondering about the Twomad responses. Well, they came out, and they're not good. In fact, they're horrendous. We'll talk about it at the end of this video.
I mean, let's look at the optics here. It looks awful for Twomad any way you dice it. He has an uphill battle to save his career. I don't know if he did anything. I just know what people tell me, which is a lot of what this job is. In my personal opinion, he seems like an irredeemable piece of shit. Does that mean he's like an absolute sex pest? I don't know. But he's had plenty of time to act like a grown-ass man. If the case goes to trial, all of these tweets that he's been tweeting every single day can be used. In the documents provided to the courts, many of Twomad's tweets are featured. The tweets don't help. I've heard a lot of ridiculous, awful shit about Twomad, so much so that the behavior now really isn't surprising to me. I didn't know the extent until now, and I can't share most of what people tell me in private, which is really annoying. But perhaps it's all the toxic gossip train. It's all hearsay. He could be innocent, and these could be the ramblings of a young man who actually needs mental help. I don't want to be so charitable to Twomad this late in the story, especially when I was reserving judgment for a long time. But let's talk about the YouTube community. I've been exhausted. People tell me things, and I say, well, you need to inform the public about this, followed by the I don't want to get involved in drama line, and I sit there thinking, at what point isn't this drama? At some point, there's a moral obligation to share these things. This is speaking generally, not just Twomad. I've heard insane stuff that I can never share about tons of things on tons of videos I've done. If you ask Diesel, why don't you just leak it all? These are conversations I have in person or on call. On top of that, you know, source journalist confidentiality is a thing I have to hold. It's a fine line you need to run in the industry, a mix of schmoozing and questioning, and also trying to stay true to your own morals and beliefs. YouTubers are so worried about risking their career that bad actors go unpunished all the time, and alternatively, things get blown out of proportion by opportunistic creators with axes to grind. I'm not calling anyone out because I've done hours of streams on allegations that make me doomer-pilled. It's just that some commentary and channels involve themselves in ways that make me very upset. I've always loved journalism, and I'm not perfect, but the ethos of the medium speaks to me. The career pearl clutching is fucking stupid, and it's the same kind of crappy attitude that you see from celebrities in Catch and Kill that permeates this industry. And it doesn't need to be that way, especially for YouTubers, which are kind of like entertainment industry outsiders. Twomad looks awful publicly. A shamed, disgraced creator who ranted a novel's worth without saying anything for months on end. I don't know what happened with Twomad and Bella in the house on those days. I've read her allegation, even if the events described didn't happen. Even if she's fucking crazy, he still has hundreds of harassing messages, ring footage that looks really fucking bad, and Twomads don't make a right. Twomads don't make a right. I meant to say two wrongs don't make a right. But until the court reconvenes, there really isn't much else to mull over, and if the two parties reach an agreement, who knows if we'll ever see anything from Twomad ever about this. Twomad, I look forward to your tweets about how I fell off, or just whatever, how I just want to scoop or whatever. But
So in the last few days, Twomad has released 3 videos responding to YouTubers who covered his stuff. In particular, let's see who else is here. Pyrocynical, and I believe Some Ordinary Gamers also shows up in here, but I think he's just talking about some random bullshit. Let me double check.
I love video. One guy running from like one side of the planet to the other, and he couldn't even.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, it is just React content. So here is the titles of these videos. I don't think the Take Your Tylenol video is related to this at all. It would predate the existence of the drama. The Boys Will Be Boys thing will be what was originally called The Respond earlier, and it changed recently. He seems very mad and upset at what had to say about him. And yeah, these responses are horrible. I know he talked about cooking up something devious, but he did not. He did not at all. It is as dysfunctional as every other single thing has been. I don't think a comeback is coming. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I don't see it. These videos are just like rambling nonsense. This really, I mean, take a look.
I was swearing at the beginning, so I need to not swear. Did I swear? I don't know if I swear. I don't think I did. Okay, let's go. I have to not swear for like 30 seconds at the beginning of the video, because in that crucial, critical time, like when the allegations came out, I need to get off Twitter. We're the critical moment, right? Critical moment. Okay?
I don't think in the past couple of years I've seen
I don't think in the past couple of years I've seen such a situation that's been as deranged, the crazy as the situation surrounding the YouTuber Twomad.
Also, look at the stuff that he has in the background. It's like the most, like, I don't want to say the word, but it's the type of people that sue me. It's a specific demographic of people that sue me.
It's white people. It's white people. Twomad seems to think that it's just white people that sue him, and that they're suing him because, you know, his black magnificence is under fire. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I've never wanted to disinvite someone from the cookout more. God, I swear. Oh my God. You sure you ain't a demon of Yakub? Huh? He's less dysfunctional than the Oompa video. He was very upset that Oompa had nothing but bad things to say. Yeah, it's loud and it hurts your ears. I reacted to the whole thing on stream. I stream regularly, weekly now, by the way. I get more viewers than Twomad. I'm much more entertaining than his annoying ass. But make sure to subscribe and hit that bell.